curiosity. Why Team 7? Lucky number or something deeper we would want to know?
Nothing deeper, to be honest. It's like we are anime fans, so Naruto, Team 7.
Oh, that's good.
So, okay, so shall we begin?
Yeah, you can begin your presentation.
Yeah, so here we are Team 7. We are offering the solution for XICOM, myself, Soumya, Shubhoday and Rumit. So, the first thing, we cover the executive summary. What we have covered in the solution, we will explore that. The first thing is the market opportunity that we have, the market analysis, to understand the domain, how it works. And then the competitions, definitely, because there are competitions, good competitions who are actually working in the field, as well as some have already started implementing things inside their own companies. And for that, the solution needs a financial case, how it will be implemented, and the strategic business model shift, because it is currently a completely CAPEX-based company, so we need to shift it strategically from the CAPEX to a hybrid of CAPEX and OPEX-based company. And the divisional transformation, because each and every division needs a transformation of itself. Not every division will be transforming according to the entire company in a similar fashion, because we need to know that how each division needs its transformation. That's what we will be covering that. And the execution plan, that's divided into 3 horizons, where in the first we will be winning some long-term contracts and credibilities by providing some EAS services, and then we will be scaling it up by integrating it with the microgrids and providing microgrid solutions with the rest, and then we will be trying to attain the market leadership at the later phase of our plan. And definitely with that comes the risk, where we will be covering majorly three risks. We have identified the 8 of them, but we will be covering majorly 3, which is commoditization and supply disruption and tech obsolescence. Coming to the market trends, we can definitely see that the renewable integration crisis is over there. The target that we are having, that we will be needing by 2032 is around of 530 gigawatt hours. Currently we are producing 230, which is a 121% capacity gap that we currently have. And even the grid curtailment is over there. There is a bottleneck in the transmission portion. The states like Karnataka and Gujarat are already working less than their existing capacities, 18% and 14% respectively, which can be utilized if these things are properly working. Based on this, then definitely the customer preferences, if we look at it, most of the customers are willing to actually shift over to the OPEX-based model rather than the CAPEX-based model, because they want to reduce their risk of accountability, to be honest. So that's something that they want to reduce and be up all the time to reduce the downtime. The third thing, definitely the regulatory, we are looking that every company is moving towards net zero. Here, since we are offering a EAS service, we will be knowing where each and every of our genset or the engine is, and we can actually try to track back each and every one of them at the end of their lifetime, and that would help us securing some good carbon credits, and later on we can use those carbon credits as a finance firm and use them to generate some revenue for the company, as well as become a net zero company as soon as possible. Next, if you look at the technology cost efficient, definitely the batteries, the solar PVs and energy storage costs will be reductions. The customer segments that we are primarily targeting are 3: the industrial manufacturing, data centers and telecom. Industrial manufacturing primarily because they are in a much higher need, and the data centers due to the rise of AI and all, they need close to 99% of uptimes for themselves. And the telecoms, for the towers that they are maintaining, which are around more than 800k plus towers, they need constant electricity supply for themselves. Looking at the strategic moves for the competitors, if you see Caterpillar, they are already integrating microgrid. They are a pioneer for that. They are integrating the microgrid in Africa, in the Eastern Africa and the Middle East. If you look at Cummins, they are internally operating on these solutions. They have installed their best in their mega site plants, and also they have come up with DataMesh, which is actually tracking the fuel capacity that they have. And along with that, aftermarket solutions for that, they have already developed Optimus Plus, which is also a good service that they are providing. And if you look at another competitor, that is Wärtsilä, which is actually providing renewable energy specialists. They are focusing on optimizing the efficiency of the renewable energy that we are getting, which is a prime concern that we have in today's world. The tier 2 we have Siemens. They are actually trying to integrate energy solutions. They are in the early phases, not yet completely done with it. So they are in that, and the startups, they are trying to use AI to give these solutions for the companies. And if you see, the market shift is already there. On the contrary to the sales, the demand for the energy services are increasing at 21% of CAGR. And if you see, definitely the investments by the global AGMs and all are increasing by around $33.8 billion of investment has already been done. Now, the gap analysis for the company, which we need to identify where the company is lacking and what's the strength of the company, to know where they need to work for if they want to go to the solution that we are presenting. So the brand, the service network coverage and the manufacturing scale are up to date, and they are already like one of the pioneers in the industry for Excite. But the sales capability, customer relationships are somewhere where they need to train their people more, where the training parts come, because we are shifting from a product to a service, so that people need to be trained on the service sales more. And coming to the financial resources, we need to look more towards the risks, do the risk management, because the risks increases with these things, which will be covering what are the risks. The critical capability gap that we have are the digital change capabilities. The digitally changing and connecting every one of them is something that a critical gap available over us, and the energy storage and hybrid system development is something we need to develop more, research more. And the regulatory and grid compliance, they are definitely changing a lot. We need to be more up, up with the government and be with that. And the engineering excellence, the grid integration is something that we need to cover in the grid excellence. Now the solution will be covered by my friend.
Hello. So we have taken 3 horizon solution, and on the basis of priorities, we have actually divided the solution. In the priority one, we will try to focus on enhanced service contracts. Like we already have maintenance contracts with our existing clients, so we will extend that contract to performance-based SLAs, and from that we will try to gain more revenue. And in the priority 2, we will have hybrid power systems. So with genset, we will also try to sell them solar and battery storage system that will give them more fuel efficiency. And in priority 3, from priority 1 and 2, we will have the data from the data pattern of the energy usage pattern from the customer. Using that, we can actually give them cost reduction solutions using energy optimization. And in priority 4, we will create microgrids for the customers within their premises using the already having the genset and solar modules for energy generation and battery storage units for energy storage. And in priority 5, we will try to focus the investment in battery storage units like lithium ion, sodium ion and supercapacitor based batteries that will give the customer the solution of energy storage. And in the last, the priority 6, we will try to integrate all these systems with the grid, for the mega sites that the customers will be having. In one site, they might be producing excess energy, and in some other site, they might be needing more energy. So actually, the customer can balance this energy using the grid. So in our divisional transformation, we will focus on 3 divisions: power generation division, components and software division, and support and service division. So for the first, the power generation division, we will see the strategic role evolution in this division. So we will sell the genset, solar PV and battery system as a whole to the customer, and try to develop their capabilities, and from them we will also try to take data for our own internal uses. And in the second phase, we will try to give them grid interactive power solutions that will give them more grid integration. And for the components and software division, first we will try to focus on battery management systems. For that, we can actually make partnerships with Caterpillar or Byte kind of companies. And in the second, we will develop our own internal digital capabilities like IoT sensors, ML analytic capabilities. And in the third, support and service division, we will try to utilize our own capabilities like data utilization capability and give the customer the energy optimization solutions by providing them 24/7 monitoring and also giving them the opportunity to reduce their costs. And now my friend Bhumi will explain the revenue model.
Okay, so as we all saw that the solution is pretty much lucrative, but we'll also have to check how we are able to generate
We
money.
have 5 more minutes for the presentation.
How we'll be able to generate the money from that. So as you can see, the revenue model, it will be changing from transaction to subscription based because we are moving from not just selling product, we will be moving to service based, and as service should be subscription based. So in phase 1, you can see we'll first of all enhance our traditional revenue model, which is initially we will sell the equipment along with service bundle. So the revenue mix would be of 70% through equipment sales and 30% through the services, which we will then evolve into performance based contracts where we will charge the company based on how much their genset data, the power generation was and how much usage was. Second phase, it is about implementing the main solution, which is energy as a service. It would start with monthly subscription model. As you already know that customers are already very much awaiting the OPEX based model, and then later on to a shared savings model where 50 to 60% of verified savings would be achieved by the customer. In phase 3, the advanced revenue models, which will be a tolling model. Tolling model would come in the picture when we are offering them energy storage and grid services. As the energy storage, if someone in the microgrid integration, there would be many users to it, and whoever is using it, so as I am the service provider, I'll charge a toll fee for that. Then another is capacity leasing and grid integration. Further, we also have the financial roadmap of how much investment to be made over the 3 phases, which is of approximately 725 million. To the next slide. Now I'll explain how we came up with that 3 priority risks. So we identified 8 critical risk categories and then segmented it among the 3 segments, which were high priority risk, significant risk, and moderate risk. The segments were divided based on the risk score, which can be calculated using the formula as mentioned here, probability into impact into a 10, which is a round-up multiple. The probability is about the occurrence of that risk, what is the probability, and impact value was calculated using the SATI scale by using AHP, analytical hierarchy process, and TOPSIS. So as you can see, our highest priority risks are the market and competitive risk, as we already saw that some of the competitors are already pioneering and have entered into some of the solutions which we are collectively providing. The supply chain risk would always be there because of the reliability on rare earth minerals, and we are also outsourcing them. The technology and innovation risk comes as we are not having engineering capability on the data and technology side. The significant risk would be operational and execution risk, regulatory policy risk, and lastly the moderate risk would be organizational capability, financial investment, and customer and commercial risk. In the last slide, I would like to now explain you the 3 horizon investment strategy, how we would split the $725 million of investment across 3 phases to achieve our goals. In horizon 1, which is short term, means our goal is to developing core capabilities where we are planning to invest $100 million, which is 14% of the total. In the second, the medium term scaling, our main goal is to have the competitive differentiation, that we should be different from the competitors, and we are actually dedicating the most to it, which is 340 million. And lastly, in phase 3, we will be again investing 285 million to have a sustainable future. The performance monitoring and adjustment triggers based off our investment, like how the pilots and how the phases which are being rolled out are running. We monitor following parameters, which is quarterly risk revenue review, revenue milestone gates, market adjustments, the go-no-go gates, the pivot triggers, and exit strategy. So this is how we would like to suggest XY Corp to enter the new energy value chain by offering energy as a service product, energy as a service solution. Thank you.
Thank you for that insightful presentation, Team 7. We now open the floor for questions from our jury.
Thank you, Team 7. Quick question first. On the gap analysis, there were a couple of areas where you are actually indicating we should go in the opposite direction, like manufacturing.
No, actually it's not opposite direction. It's like we have current capability at this, the required is this, so we are already over and above the current capability.
Okay, so it's not essentially the. Okay. So you are at 9, whereas requirement is 7.
So we are already over and above the required capability, so we are good with that. We are extremely good at that.
So that is just a comparison based
Yeah.
on how it should be and how we stand.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. You seem to have a very aggressive strategy and approach, like with around 725 million of investment. I also see your IRR or paybacks are like they're also quite aggressive.
Yeah.
How are they supported with respect to your market dynamic assessment and your overall go-to-market strategy? Like, you think there is more of an entitlement that XY Corporation has, or there is something that they still need to do in order to realize this ambitious plan?
Yeah, so the thing is, when they are beginning with, they already have a good network coverage, they already have a good brand equity. So the current consumers that are already using their gensets, and also they can directly jump into the OPEX-based models with the current gensets that they are using, and means the current customers that they are having, they can directly jump into it. So the phase where they need to acquire new customers would be much lesser than the companies who are just starting and entering it. So that period is where we will save it. And apart from that, definitely the energy-based solutions, like that is the first we will go for the completely like how many hours or how many means watt of energy or watt hours of energy you are using. On base we will be charging that. So that is much more comfortable for the customer as well. And with that we will be also providing the battery solutions, which will be actually helpful. Like if they are generating more, they don't need to send it back to the power grid, which is definitely not useful for them. They can store it and use it later when the high uptime hours come for them. So that will actually help, means it will help in generating more interest for the customers. So that will be more helpful for us to onboard them for a longer period of time. So the long-term contracts will help us at securing the risk of losing some customers over the period.
Just so that I understand a little better, so the customer asset that the XY Corporation has, what is the value proposition through which we feel that we will be able to incorporate or get that customer asset base converted into a realistic business opportunity?
So just clearing, like you are asking like the customer set that we already have, so how will we convert them into the business opportunity, right?
What is the value proposition?
Yeah, so basically we are actually like the capex that they are already investing in to buy the gensets. They don't have to do that. Apart from that, we are also providing them the energy cost solutions. They are saving from that. So the value generated through the savings of the energy cost optimizations as well as the instant capex investment is something that will add up and make it a more like lucrative value for them to get on board.
Adding on to that, there might be some customers who are generating more powers, like in daytime they are generating more powers using solar PVs, and in night time they actually require that power. So the customers actually, what excess the energy they are generating, they are giving it back to the grid without any price or any gain. So they can actually store that in their battery storage units and use that in night time when there is no solar power. So that will actually reduce their overall cost.
In phase 1, you all mentioned that we would want to go to a performance-based revenue model. Tell me more in terms of what does that mean? The performance-based SLAs, and how do we develop revenues and what's the revenue? How does it change?
Yeah, so basically what we were trying to do is, since there are a lot of companies, especially who are like they have multiple gensets. Not all the gensets are running at all the time. They have backup gensets. So we will be charging based on the usage of those gensets. So it would be like the service they are getting from the gensets. It would be based on the number of hours or the number of kilowatt hours energy that they are using every month or say every period of time. We will be using that as a metric to charge them on that. So that would be more of like if they have already bought it and the system is idle, they don't have to pay for it.
That was exactly my question. So today in the market where we more or less see very less electric outages, the genset tends to be a backup unit, more or less. So if I charge them for running hours, would that mean my revenue, because our maintenance contract is such that even if I run for only 100 hours a year, maintenance needs to be done, and so the maintenance, so that's recurring revenue.
So,
Now, if I charge them only for the outages,
but the thing is, that's why our first priority was the industrial manufacturing units. Because most of the industrial manufacturing units are not in the cities where the power outages are normal. They are out there in the outskirts where the power outages are like crazy. Like they usually go down if the rains are high, if there is a storm, or even in the high summers they go out. So during those times, those industries can actually utilize those. And
so what's your, if you look at an analysis of saying what is the number of outage hours per year to go from a standard maintenance contract to a performance-based SLA?
For the one that we have calculated, not calculated, like we have assumed that most of, for a basic small scale industry, the SMEs, it would be mostly around for every day in a region like that during peak summers, it would be around 4 to 6 hours of outages that will happen during the entire, if it's running 24 hours. Where it not only outages, it would include even the backups where we will be providing for the extra units that they need. So that would include even those. So 4 to 8 hours would be the range that we have
Per day.
for the like micro industries that they are operating over there.
Sir, also adding on to that, because as you can see in many of the states, you have industrial development centers. So that they generally, because they are not large scale, they are MSMEs, they have their power from grid, the state grid, but they are not supplied the power through entire week. They have 1 day staggering, like they are supposed to stop their production for a day. So having this solution can improve their productivity.
I think in some of the references you had mentioned about the components, the overall strategy, right?
Yeah.
And there was a reference for partnerships with Caterpillar, BYD. Why would they want to come and partner with you if they are competitors?
So it's more like creating a coexisting environment with them. It is like although they are our competitors, but we are good at something, they are good at something. So we to reduce the time period of the execution of this plan, we can cooperate with them and execute this plan faster than it would have actually been done if we both of us have worked individually and researched.
That's not typically how market dynamics work, right? I mean, no one's as collaborative, say, you know, this is my strength and your strength. So what is that compelling, you know, value proposition you bring? Let's say the Caterpillar piece. I probably think the BYD has a different significance. But I don't get why a Caterpillar would find it to have an opportunity to collaborate with you in a market that they're already competing in co-products.
So basically, if we see, Caterpillar is actually focusing more on the microgrid integration. That too in the like countries like Eastern Africa and Middle East. They are not focused all over around the world, and they are only focusing on the microgrid integration. Whereas as a company, we can provide them the support, provide them the capacity to create their own BESS, the energy as a service solutions, as well as the analytics part, where we can help them to serve the customers as a like to optimize the cost for them. For the existing customer base that they have, they can increase the value for their customers and penetrate the market even further than they currently have. So that is something that they will benefit from that, and they will also have a chance to enter into the market like India has, where companies like XY Corp is a leading company where they are like having in contact with every other firms over there. So they will also get a chance to enter into a completely closed market which XY actually dominates, and we will also get to and that will be actually beneficial for both of them, because we will also be able to use the microgrid capability that they have into us without doing much higher research on ourselves.
Okay, just a one follow-on. I think in the risk you spoke about a little bit of the exposure of technology wearing out for, I think, the lithium-ion based technologies that would be a risk over 6 to 8 years. But you also made a recommendation on investments of 50 million and odd. What signposts would you be looking at when you have to initially rank up this kind of investments?
So if we look currently only, the world is actually trying to move forward with the lithium-ion batteries. They want to move towards something more sustainable than lithium-ion, because also the other reason being the lithium as a rare earth material, it is located or say having a edge over for only one country. So world is trying to move beyond lithium-ion batteries, because it's one of the technologies in electricals which is not has changed in decades. So the world is already trying to move ahead. So it's already a signpost that we should start our research in further advanced battery technologies like sodium-ion batteries as well as superconductor batteries, which will actually help us to optimize our costs. Because we don't have to be dependent on only one country and mitigate the risks that we would, geopolitical risks that we would incur due to the dependency on single country.
A practical example to what my friend said is Reliance Industries Limited. They in their new energy development department, they are currently working on developing sodium-ion batteries, and they also have collaborated with Ashok Leyland, and they also made hydrogen IC engine. So this is how industry is currently diversifying.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Team 7, for your responses. We now invite questions from the audience and our leaders.
So we work on the real day use cases for this battery energy storage. So I have only one question. So you are asking for an investment of 725 million, and what we see in real world cases, your grid charges they go down, and you are getting the revenue on SLS each year, right? Then how are you actually maintaining your cash flow with that 725 million and the grid charges going down? From right now it is around 8.36 in Maharashtra. They may go down because more and more renewable integration causes your rupees per kilowatt hour to go down. So how are you actually getting your 3.5 billion revenue from 725 million without a negative cash flow, or what are your assumptions over there?
So basically, the 725 million won't be in the first half. It would like immediately. It would be spread across till 2032. So that's like not immediate cash flow that we are burning out. And the immediate thing that we will be looking forward with would be the EAS service contract that we are offering. And moving forward, we will be developing our own solutions of BESS and microgrid pioneering, for which we will be charging based on the grid charges that will be available over at that time. So we would like to generate cash flows based on the charges that are already being charged, but we will provide, since we are also providing analysis for cost optimization and all, so that would be some additional value that we are adding into it, and to get the more value and get charged more. That would be something that we will be focusing on.
Just a follow-up question. Basically, when a battery performs, there is a degradation year on year. So from battery side also there is a degradation, from grid charges side also there is a trend which is going down. So that's where my actually question comes from.
So actually that's why we also talked about the regulatory compliances, that since we are operating on our EAS service, we will know that where each and every of our battery services, which each and every of our grid services are. So whenever the degradation happens and it's beyond operable, we can call back those. We can try to sterilize them, or we can recycle the part that can be recycled, and through that we can generate some carbon credits and move towards the net zero. And once we get carbon negative, we can use those carbon credits as green bonds and issue them and generate some cash flows even from them.
Right. Thank you.